home and told my wife, she says, new suit, huh?
It does, it looks like a new suit.
I had to take it off and show her the armpits.
We've taken good care of it, I can see.
Strawberry.
Do you have one of those little steamers?
Share too if you want one.
Those ones you steam it when you put
You
your
hang your suit up and then you steam it.
Just chill, you know, it's okay. Sometimes things like this happen.
I gotta give my vote for best dress to you.
Can I help? A little bit, yeah.
You're up there, you're up there.
Come up there. See, I don't have this stuff.
Oh, he's got the best car.
I don't have the scar.
I told him,
So they start making those in the 30s.
calm down. I'm being facetious. Being facetious?
That's great.
You guys say, yeah.
It still looks stylish.
It does, very stylish.
You know, if you will.
He's a sharp-dressed man.
You guys. Oh, come on now, across the aisle?
One from
Is George Johnson?
No.
I always like those
Hey.
handkerchiefs there. He says, they stopped making those in the 30s.
Who's better dressed, this side or that side?
Get them at the dry cleaners, right?
For us, it's.
Put a little light down the end.
$750. After that,
Are you standing?
Ready, Cheryl?
Regular meeting of the City Council held in council chambers on Thursday, October 27th, 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on October 21st, 2011 at 9:45 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. All councilors are present, Council President Ryan is presiding. Council Lovely moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. I ask that everyone rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wanted to make a note that McDonald's petition for extended hours, they have withdrew. So there'll be no petition on that. So they withdrew that petition. First section, public testimony. We have one speaker. If you want to step to the podium, state your name and address.
Shirley Walker, Derby Lofts, downtown resident. I want to support Councilor Sosnowski's order that's on the agenda that the Committee of the Whole meet in a joint meeting with the Licensing Board to discuss recurring problems of fights breaking out in the downtown where alcohol is served. And I would ask Councilor Sosnowski, in addition to the Council Committee of the Whole and the Licensing Board, to include Chief Tucker and the Mayor, because it's really time that we take this problem head-on in the downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hearings.
We have an order from Comcast to install conduits on Derby Square, Essex Street, and Washington Street.
All right, is there anyone in the chamber who would like to speak in favor of the petition? Please step to the microphone and give your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Tim Broderick. I'm with Comcast, 55 Concord Street, North Reading. And, the petition before you is as follows. From 10 Derby Square, from existing Comcast vault in front of 32 Derby Square, we'll be placing a PVC conduit 75 feet plus or minus in a westerly direction to the basement of 10 Derby Square. That's the first piece of the construction. The second piece is to 221 Essex Street, and that will be done from the basement of 10 Derby Square. We'll be placing a PVC conduit, a 3-inch PVC conduit, 5 feet plus or minus northerly to the basement of 221 Essex Street. That's the second piece. The third piece is for 125 Washington Street. From the basement of 231 Essex Street, we're going to place one 3-inch PVC conduit 15 feet plus or minus southerly to the basement of 125 Washington Street. And the last piece is for 133 Washington Street. From the basement of 125 Washington Street, we'll place one 3-inch PVC conduit 5 feet plus or minus to the basement of 133 Washington Street. and this will take care of that whole block of buildings, Derby, Essex, and Washington Street.
Thank you. Any questions? Council Pelletier?
No, I already discussed it with them. We held off on this only because of the farmer's market and the Halloween. So they'll be ready to go after Monday, if they get approved tonight, which, this came to me through Bob Dunham, who bought the Essex, who bought the building where the Eastern Bank is now. And he has a tenant that wants to go in there that needs high-speed internet. And so for Comcast, it looks like it's a long route, but it's pretty simple. They're going through basements, and there won't be much digging in that area as far as bricks. And Tim Broderick's been with Comcast for quite a while, and he knows what we want done after construction, go back to the way it was, especially the brick, and I'm sure he'll do that. If there's anybody here in opposition,
So I was gonna ask, is anyone else in favor? Is anyone else, anyone in opposition? None being, Councilor
I move
Pelletier?
that the hearing be closed.
Councilor Pelletier moves that the hearing be closed. All those in favor, all those opposed? So voted.
Move the petition be granted.
Councilor Pelletier moves petition be granted. All those in favor, opposed? So voted.
Thank you very much.
Further petitions?
We have an order for Verizon to install conduits on Essex Street.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of the petition? To the microphone, state your name and address.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, my name is Joseph Gleason. I'm a right-of-way agent with Verizon New England, Inc. Our office is located at 28 Diana Lane in Drake. The petition before the council this evening is a fairly simple one. Verizon is seeking permission to lay and construct approximately 8 feet of underground conduit along Essex Street, adjacent to the fire station, Ladder 2, as shown on the plan, from an existing manhole designated as manhole 117 to existing pole 334. The existing pole and manhole to be located on are located on the easterly side of Essex Street. The purpose of this request is that Verizon is engaged at present in what's called a IOF construction program. An IOF construction program is basically an inter-office facilities or fiber route program. What they're doing is they're running additional conduit and fiber between the central office in Salem and the central office in Peabody. And this, I am told by our engineering department, is sort of the last piece of the puzzle that they need to complete this IOF route. The reason that we're doing this is because, obviously, when you're seeing additional conduit and or fiber being placed, that probably indicates there's more capacity that's needed. So there's been a lot of increased business for Verizon. So this will help alleviate some of the capacity issues they're having. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the chamber speak in favor? Opposed? Councilor Pelletier?
Thank you, Mr. President. One question, all this new fiber optic, is that going to allow in a couple of years to Verizon to come in and offer their
Bios.
cable service?
Bios.
Bios, cable service.
I know that in particular locations throughout Salem and in other areas of the North Shore, Verizon is ongoing with its Fios rollout. But relative to coming into Salem and securing a franchise for video rights and what have you, that is a question that would be best posed to our Public Relations Department. I don't know the status of extended Fios rollouts throughout Massachusetts.
I believe we all know who that gentleman is.
Okay.
Okay. Council Pelletier?
No further comments. Council Pinto, did you have something?
No, I'm all
You all
set.
set?
Thank you.
Council
I'd
Pinto?
just like to speak in favor of this, that's all, Mr.
Okay.
President, for the record. Thank you.
All right. Move that the hearing be closed, Mr. President.
Councilor Pelletier moves that the hearing be closed. All those in favor? Opposed?
Move that the petition be granted.
Councilor Pelletier moves the petition be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So voted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Further hearings? The withdrawal of the McDonald's. You skip right over that. Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Cynthia Bogo to serve as a constable with a term to expire October 14, 2012.
Council Lovely.
Move that be received and placed on file.
Council Lovely moves that be received and placed on file. All those in favor? Opposed? Communications from the mayor.
We have an order for a transfer of $29,400 from Recreation Golf Course Seasonal Labor account to the Recreational Golf Course Contracted Services account.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval.
Council McCarthy moves for approval. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Back through the budget process, it was included in the budget that for Park and Rec, that a golf course manager would be included in the budget, but when we included it in the budget, it was included under the salary line item, and the Park and Rec Commission has decided that it would be better served if they, when they hire the golf course manager, that they hire the manager as a contractor. So they'd like to move the golf course manager's position from salaries to contracted services. So this is, the money's already in the budget, it's just a matter of us approving the removal from one line item to another line item so that they can hire the golf course manager. They want to, I talked to Mr. Boland early this week. They'd like to do this. They went through an interview process. They have the gentleman that they want. He's agreed to it, but they want to get him in place. They want to get some groundwork done. Without having a manager up there per se, they don't do a lot of promotion. They don't do a lot of advertising. He wants to get his feet wet right now, while at the tail end of the season, so that come early next season he can move forward and try to enhance the golf course and the programming and the revenues generated from it by advertising and creating more of it. So I would urge my colleagues for approval.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Council Sosnowski.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick question through you. When Mr. Drew retired, I thought his second in command was going to take over. Does this mean that he has not, and we're taking somebody in from outside?
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Drew did retire. They went through a process where they actually, the gentleman that you're referring to did not want that position. They actually found another individual that has taken over Mr. Drew's responsibilities through the budget process that we went through this past year. It was a lot of us were at the meeting when we talked about privatization of the golf course, and we all know where that went. So after that, the Park and Rec Commission decided that, you know, they wanted to move the golf course. With Dick Drew retiring, made a long-time fixture. Dick did a great job. I mean, I didn't have the pleasure of playing there this year, but the last couple of years I played up there quite a few times, and the course was in great shape. But with Mr. Drew retiring, he had basically both duties, and so with the new superintendent, they've kind of divided it up a little bit, and they want to hire a golf course manager. We went through this whole process during the budget. Like I just said, the money's in there. It's just a matter of transferring it from salary line item to contracted services, because the new individual is going to manage the golf course on a day-to-day basis. As it's stated in the letter, we're going to save a bit of money, because as a contract service, we don't, you know, during the wintertime when he's not working, we don't pay, what's the word I'm looking for? Unemployment. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of ways we save money by having a contractor service for that position. So that's what the Park and Rec Commission decided to hire him as a contracted service. So they just need to transfer the line out. So, thank you.
Does that answer your question, Council Sosnowski?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Council Sosnowski. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, October 27, 2011, ordered that the year-to-date budget report dated September 30th, 2011 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Under discussion?
No discussion. We do this every month. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. President.
All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President. An ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 75, parking prohibited, tow zone, resident sticker. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Hazel Street, even side between Laurel Street and Holly Street, resident sticker parking, Zone E, color orange, resident sticker parking, tow zone. This ordinance, Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon city charter.
Okay. Thank you. Under discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, I had promised to bring this order up after a meeting with some of the residents of Hazel Street. This really has to do with a problem area that I have in my ward that relates to Salem State College and some of the off-campus housing issues that are particular to my ward and particular to this street. There are several multifamily houses on this section of Hazel Street. They often have parties, and their guests come and park on Hazel Street, make it absolutely impossible for any of the residents of Salem to find a spot to park. So this was a unanimous recommendation of all of the residents on Hazel Street. It was backed up by the Community Impact Officer. We discussed it at Salem State with the Associate Dean, and it's a recommendation that was approved by Lieutenant Prozewski and the Police Department. So I'd ask all of my colleagues for the unanimous support for first passage of this ordinance.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the City of Salem and City Council, October 27, 2011, ordered that the Committee of the Whole meet in a joint meeting with the Licensing Board to discuss the recurring problem of fights breaking out downtown near bars, restaurants, taverns, and other establishments that serve alcohol, and that the following be invited: Salem Police Department Chief Tucker or his representative, Mayor Driscoll or her representative.
Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Basically speaking, there's been a couple of incidents happening recently downtown that are very disturbing. Toward that end, there's been some meetings, and one, unfortunately, that I missed on Monday evening. However, in talking with the police chief and talking with Captain Gilligan, these are being addressed, and they're doing a fairly decent job. However, I do want to have this meeting go forward because it's not just one establishment we need to be concerned with, and I'm hoping this is not a trend. I'm being told it's not a trend. All right, I just want to make sure so that, we have a wonderful, wonderful downtown. It has the mixed-use compound in it, the stores on the first floor, residents above. I just want to make sure that, we can do whatever we can do to make sure that downtown, everybody feels safe, and that we go from there. So, that's what this meeting would go to. I think it's pretty much under control right now, and quite honestly, I think the police department is doing a good job responding to what has happened. I don't know how many people heard about it, but it was a pretty horrific incident. But I've been told it's not as often as we think it is. So I just want to make sure that we're there. And when we discuss this in the Committee of the Whole, we'll see where we're going and if we have to take any further steps to make everybody safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
Sure.
Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in the year 2011, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 57A, parking time limited, unmetered zone. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Bridge Street in front of number 45, starting at a point 20 feet south of Planter Street and continuing south for 20 feet. One space, 30-minute parking limit, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7 days a week. Parking time limited, unmetered zone. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Thank you. Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Basically speaking here, as everybody knows, I represent the Bridge Street area in its entirety. It has been impacted horrendously over the past few years, and the businesses down there are suffering. This one particular woman who has a business at the corner of Planters and Bridge Street is dependent upon and customers being able to park for a certain amount of time. All right. That being said, I'm trying to accommodate her. We had it 5 days a week, but her busiest days are on the weekends. And this is a change from 5 days a week to the 7 days a week. All right, and that's simply what this revision would be doing. It has to go through this first passage and then for second passage later. But basically, it's just to help the businesses and get everything back on track down there. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask my colleagues for their support on this. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, for adoption, first passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Council Sosnowski?
Mr. President, can I take a point of personal privilege, please?
Yes.
I'm having some difficulties on Bridge Street. I've been working with the city engineer on some things, and I want to make the city council and yourself aware that we have some issues here that are just beyond disturbing. In addition to having the impacts to the residents and the impacts to the businesses, I have a school that I'm dealing with, and I have a flashing yellow light down there. In particular, I have 3 pedestrian crossings that are coming out, and one of them's not even being replaced. And I wasn't aware of that until one of the residents of Northey Street told me this. All right, there's a pedestrian crosswalk by the dentist's office at the corner of Winter and Bridge. That's coming out. Nobody can cross there now safely. There's another one down by Osgood Street that's coming, well, actually there's one there. But the part that's frustrating me is by the school. The pedestrian light has been removed because I asked for these flashing lights that are telling you that there's a school zone and to slow down, but that was in addition to the pedestrian light. And come to find out, there's this thing called the MUTCD. It's the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. Right now, if I have an elementary school-aged person with their parents, they go to Skerry Street to push the button to cross, they push the button, the yellow lights flash, but that's all they do. There's no red light, and there's a verbal warning that comes out and says, caution, traffic may not stop. Kids, I've argued this point with the city engineer, and we're on the same page. Dave Knowlton is excellent with this, and he's working very hard to help me with this. And he's asked for my patience in this thing. But the reality is, I don't know who designs these laws, but it's absolutely ludicrous. And that's where we're being held to this point. And if we can't get the pedestrian lights back, I'm going to be asking later, and this is coming to the point of my personal privilege here, I'm going to be asking the council to please find the money so I can put a pedestrian light there for the kids. Especially that one. If I can't find the other ones, I'm going to be asking to get that done. Because it just makes 0 sense. I'm beyond frustrated with this thing. It just is crazy. And I would ask everybody's help if I have to go that route and ask for the money. So please, I would. That's the situation, and forgive me for taking your time on that. Sorry.
O'Keefe?
Mr. President, members of the council, I had occasion to go down Bridge Street early in the morning, Wednesday, and I saw these 2 big, enormous yellow lights blinking and the students dashing across the street. Now, can I ask the council another question? When did we create, or did we, stop on Winter Street? You want to talk about that? Because all of a sudden I'm driving on Winter Street, it's a red light flashing and signs, stop.
Mr. President, point of order.
Yeah, the point of personal privilege is what Council Sosnowski was. We're not really debating this, Councilor O'Keefe.
Well, no, I'm asking a question. Did we do that? Did we pass an ordinance?
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yeah.
I'll ask it later.
Yeah, it's not a time to ask
That's
it now.
correct. Okay.
All right. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the City Council. In City Council, October 27, 2011, ordered that the meetings of the qualified voters of the City of Salem be held in the several voting precincts in the city at the polling places designated hereinafter on Tuesday, November 8, 2011, for the purpose of casting votes in the city election for the election of candidates for the following offices: 4 councilors at large for the term of 2 years, councilor of wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the term of 2 years, 3 members of the school committee for the term of 4 years. And be it further ordered that the following places be and hereby are designated as polling places for said meetings: Ward 1, Precinct 1 and Precinct 2, Bentley School, Memorial Drive; Ward 2, Precinct 1, Precinct 2, St. John's School, St. Peter Street; Precinct 3, Ward 3, Precinct 1, Precinct 2, Salem High School Auditorium, 77 Wilson Street; Ward 4, Precinct 1 and Precinct 2, Witchcraft Heights School Gymnasium, 1 Frederick Street; Ward 5, Precinct 1, Temple Shalom, 287 Lafayette Street, Precinct 2, Community Room, Pioneer Terrace; Ward 6, Precinct 1, Bates School, Liberty Avenue; Precinct 2, Recreation Department, Mack Park; Ward 7, Precinct 1 and 2, Salem State University Enterprise Center, 121 Loring Avenue. Be it further ordered that the polls of said meetings be opened at 7 a.m. and closed at 8 p.m., and that the city clerk be instructed to post this new notice as required by law.
Thank you. Under discussion?
Done.
None? All those in favor? Opposed? Move adopted. Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? Council Sergeant?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, October 27, 2011, ordered that the Committee on Community and Economic Development meet to discuss the use of LED, light-emitting diode lights in the street lights and other city-owned lighting in Salem. Under discussion.
Under discussion, Council Sergeant?
This is something that a Lynn official told me about, and they saved roughly $100,000 changing over to those new kind of LED lights. And I talked to John Giardi about it, and they had done that in the decorative lighting, and there's a possibility of doing it in all the city street lights. And I'd just like to have this in committee in case we need to bring them in and do anything we can to help them move that forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And I say Swamps could save $50,000 on it also. You're right.
All right. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
Another one?
Further motions, orders, and resolutions, Council
Thank
Sergeant?
you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, October 27, 2010, ordered that the Committee on Community and Economic Development meet to discuss the charging of our residents who were affected by recent heavy flooding for dumping at the transfer station after a city robocall directed them to bring flood damage items to the transfer station.
Under discussion?
I had one person call me about that. We all got the robocall, and just like when we got the robocall for leaves, we didn't get charged to have leaves picked up curbside. And most of these people that had this happen assumed that they were bringing it up, they were flood damage items, and they wouldn't be charged for it. So this one may be able to handle just by being reimbursed. But in case we get a bunch more of those calls after people learn more about this, I just wanted to have this in committee to be able to have a meeting on it instead of having to bring something in after the fact. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? Okay. Committee reports? Council Lovely?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, City Council, October 27, 2011. Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend approval. Junk dealer, public guides, tag days.
Okay, on acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation and discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports, Councilor Pelletier?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council, October 27, 2011. Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of Whole, to whom is referred the matter regarding the status of citywide flood control, has considered said matter and would recommend the matter remain in committee.
Okay, on acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We had a great meeting with the city engineers, the Woodward and Curran, as well as North Shore Civil Engineering over on 120. There's a big plan going on, and if anybody at home who's gotten flooded and wants to look at this meeting, just call SATV, Patrick Kennedy over there, and he'll burn a CD for any resident or any counselor, anybody that needs to view what we went over that night. I mean, it was just so much technical information that I couldn't possibly do it all right now. The thing I want to talk to my colleagues about now, it was discussed that night. Pretty much there's a $3 million grant on board. But that, we're only gonna get that grant if Salem State College comes to the table and works with us. Right now, our last meeting with them, they said they had no money, had all kinds of excuses other than helping us. But this $3 million grant, it would go a very long way in the $15 million cost it's gonna do for the Canal Street project, as well as the Rosie's Pond project. All that part of the South River is estimated at $15 million. Now, if you were here, the grant is called like a bucket grant, meaning they got like $15 million in the bucket, and they distribute it out, and it goes on, if the job's going off, if we're working our job and we need more money, we can get more money, pour the bucket in. That's exactly what the Woodward and Curran engineers said. But again, it's contingent on the Salem State working with us. And so far, they've been oblivious, or just like they're holding back. And then I read in the paper, okay, about a new $15 million facility they want to build on the O'Keefe Center for exercise, and they have no money.
Above sea level?
What's that?
Build above sea level?
Yeah, well, they have to be, yeah. And they can use their lot as a swimming pool. But next meeting, we're gonna meet with them again. And if I'm not satisfied, next meeting I'll be bringing in a council order. I talked to the mayor about it. She's not happy with me doing it. Doesn't matter. This is about $3 million on the table for us, for the residents of that area, all right? In Ward 5 over there, who get inundated time and time again. This project, overall project, $15 million cost, and it's not a total fix, but it is a fix. So, like I said, anybody that wants to see the meeting can get a copy of a burned CD from SATV. I asked you all to get one. Well, I think I asked Patrick Kennedy to burn some for the council anyway, so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Further discussion, Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to point out also, what, in addition to what Councilor Pelletier indicated, it was available on DVD from SATV. It's also on their website, so if you go on satv.org and you kind of go through the channels on channel 16, it's actually on there, so you can watch it on your computer at home for people that want to access it through that venue.
Well, thank
Councilor
you, Council.
Pinto, then Councilor Ronan.
I'm not computer savvy as you are.
Councilor Pinto.
Mr. President, no, I happened to watch the meeting. I couldn't make it that night. I actually watched it. It was very informative. And I just want to chime in that we are in the process, I believe, of doing Canal Street. We're at the 20% stage, I think. 25% stage for Canal Street, and it's obviously named Canal Street for a reason. But I did watch the meeting. I will try to make the next one, and I want to comment, Councilor Pelletier, $15 million. I think they might have a few loose change, a little money kicking around to kick into that, you know. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President, and I want to thank Councilor Pelletier because he chaired the meeting. It was an excellent meeting. There is a resolution in the works, actually, for this flooding problem, and that's what's so interesting. So I would urge anybody that's interested in seeing what that solution is, really to watch the tape of that meeting. But essentially, the $3 million that we're talking about is a grant that MEMA has recommended to FEMA, you know, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, that we get, and that we're funded at least to the tune of $3 million. To accept that money, we have to do two things. We have to show that we're ready to start the project and that the project will work. Well, the project will work, but to be ready to start the project, we have to show, you know, that we're financially ready to go ahead and come up with the solution. The price tag of the solution that we're looking at, and again, this is a matter, I suppose, that we'll be addressing later, is $12.5 to $16.5 million. And the solution calls for the necessary cooperation of Salem State College in that we really would like to build a cistern in the O'Keefe Center parking lot to hold water, and then a pumping station so we can pump the water eventually out to the ocean. So we need Salem State College's cooperation, both in using their land to build the cistern, obviously in the pumping station, but as this will be a direct benefit to Salem State College, on the state side, we need their cooperation financially. So I was talking to Councilor Pelletier, and I'm supporting his, I don't know exactly the wording of it, but essentially what he and I talked to is coming in with something to suggest to Salem State College that we are looking to them for a financial contribution to the solution of this problem. You know, right now their parking lot and the lack of a cistern and the fact that dips down actually to below sea level is a problem that's, you know, is consuming my ward, also, you know, portions of Ward 3. So there's a solution, but it's going to be, you know, it's an imminent solution, but we're going to have to come up with a lot of money relatively quickly, and we're going to be asking the state, Salem State College, you know, State Representative Keenan, to help us out, because obviously there's a big price tag, and the delta between the $3 million grant money, which we want to take. We were told that that's an extraordinary grant, that typically, you know, FEMA doesn't have, you know, all that money available. It's a bucket grant in that they're going to fund us at least $3 million, but if other communities aren't ready to, you know, proceed with their projects, if they can't show the financial ability to, you know, improve their, you know, to fund their projects, then there may be an opportunity to get more than $3 million. So it's an extraordinary opportunity that we think we have to take that grant money, but we're going to have to shortly be in the position to go forward on this project. So, you know, certainly Salem State College knows about this, but they really, you know, we're going to be looking for their cooperation.
All right. Councilor O'Keefe?
Through you, Mr. President, a suggestion to Councilor Pelletier. He does an awful lot of work on the flood control and drains and what have you. That, as Councilor Lona just suggested, Representative John Keenan, but I suggest Senator Berry, who is the majority leader of the Senate, would be interested, because you know, the cars that float in there every time it rains, I mean, they live all over the state and outside the state when it rains. And you saw some pictures in the Salem News, the last big storm, we had a couple of cars, students' cars in there. But that's the state appropriation. So they're gonna have to have special legislation to put that in. So it's best you get the representative and the state senator to put it in the budget to have the drain put in, or the cistern. He does a lot of work. The committee does. I salute the committee and the chairman.
Let's get Councilor Ferry, and then I'll get to you.
It was a great meeting that you shared, Councilor Pelletier. Chairman, you put a lot of effort in there, a lot of research and time, and very technical and challenging material. It was very well shared. But I think we're very ably represented by Councilor O'Keefe and Councilor Ronan in the Ward 5-7 Association. They have a great marriage relationship, partnership with Salem State College. They attended the last meeting. I was there about that addition to Salem State College. Salem State University now has a very good track record stepping up to the plate. If you remember, I think Councilor Lovely may remember too, some of us remember that we asked Salem State to come up to the plate and do a train stop and come up with funding for a train stop near McDonald's. That wasn't successfully passed through some outside interest, but Salem State did step up to the plate with funding for a train stop behind McDonald's. So I think it's a win-win situation to have that area fixed up there. They'll step up to the plate, I believe.
Councilor Pelletier.
A quick reply to that train stop, that's right in my backyard, and I wasn't on council, I opposed it to the hill.
That was a Marblehead stop.
Getting back to the flooding. Just so you all know, our city engineer and our consultant engineers, Woodward and Curran and North Shore Civil Engineering, and the state engineers working for the college, they all agree on the concept of what needs to be done, okay? So there's nothing there. Nothing about having to redo the plans or what's gonna go. It's about the money, okay?
All right.
And that's what it's gonna boil down to, okay?
Councilor Sosnowski, then Councilor McCarthy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I want to just publicly thank Councilor Pelletier for all the work he's done toward this heading up citywide flood control piece. I think he's done a very good job. But I'd also be remiss in not recognizing Fred Vaughter for all he did years ago to get this to everybody's attention. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy.
I too want to rise and thank Council Pelletier. He's, since I've been on the council, he's been the guy that wants to crawl around down in storm drains and find out why they're clogged and find out why people flood, and let's fix that. And he's doing a great job at it. But I also want to let the rest of the people know that had flooding issues. This is a citywide approach. Obviously, we're focused right now with the potential for grant money for Canal Street, but at that meeting, we also talked about the flooding that went on Council Sosnowski's ward. Try to deal with that. We also talked about the mitigation from what potentially could be coming from Peabody with with their work they're doing. So it is a citywide approach right now. we're doing a lot of discussion about what's Canal Street, because there is a potential for grant money there, but at the same time as we haven't lost sight at the whole city, and the plan does address a lot of other areas that were affected, especially during this last storm, and we'll be trying to get towards all of them. But I wanted to rise and say that Councilor Pelletier is doing a great job chairing that committee, and especially with regard to the flood control. Thank you.
And I also want to thank Council Pelletier and just let people know that the last storm, my wife actually called and left a message for him, because he doesn't answer his phone. No, I'm just kidding. She thanked him for all the work he did, because that last storm might have been worse. It was bad, but it could have been worse if some of the stuff wasn't happening. And actually, on the way at that meeting, we talked about how when in snow, people should shovel out the fire hydrants. But we talked about when it rains out, people should clear out the drains.
Yep.
And on the way here today, when I was coming by St. James and Flint Street, it was like plugged up. I was so tempted to pull over and stop. I didn't want to get all dirty. But I was thinking of that on the way here.
I thank you for all your accolades, but it's not about me, it's about the people that work for the city, the engineer, and I want to give the engineer an A+ because speaking about Forrester Street down in Ward 2, very low-lying area, and it takes stormwater from the back end of the mall here by the PBS Museum all that way from Bridge Street, and all goes down to Webb Street and Forrester Street into one pipe that goes out by the power plant. Now, our city engineer had the forethought when they were doing Blaney Street, have a big drain pipe put in there, out the wall, brought out to Derby Street and capped off. So in the future, the city, you know, that was a great idea. Instead of going back in and tearing up the lot and putting it in later, it's there now. So now the city can put out the contract or whatever, do it. I don't think they can do it themselves, but they can cut this pipe that's coming from up here and reroute some of the drainage heading down that way and have two drainage. I mean, these sound like simple fixes, but they'll end up overall being major fixes. But thank you all, and let's keep plugging.
All right, thank you. Any further
Plug the
discussion?
dam.
Move the question.
All those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor Pinto?
Mr. President, City Council, October 27, 2011, Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment, co-posted with Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter regarding the status of the proposed gas station at 111 North Street. Trickett Realty has considered said matter and would recommend that that the City Council respectfully request that the building inspector hold the issuance of any occupancy permit until all zoning ordinances are adhered to.
Okay. On acceptance of report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Under discussion, Mr. President, I'm going to take a stab at this. This was a long meeting, and I'm grateful that Council members Lovely and Councilor Prevey brought it in because they can speak after I actually try to talk, and I don't want to try to be too long. But basically, this meeting, and everyone knows what it's about, we had 9 councilors show up at this meeting. This is something that's been ongoing. It's been 3 years. It was actually 3 years this month that this has been ongoing, and it has to do with the trees and this Shell gas station. The owner of the Shell gas station more or less thumbing his nose at us. So we opened up the meeting. There was 2 letters. There was a letter from Mr. Sideropoulos, who owns the gas station, from his counselor stating that he wanted to move forward and open his gas station in December, and then he would somehow, he put what they call a performance bond down, so that any work that wasn't completed, and what we're talking about is the planting. We've missed the season for the planting. He took down 40 trees, not to, everybody in the council knows what's going on for the people at home. He took down 40 trees. Mr. Yannikopoulos to the left of the station is getting flooded. People in the back of Buffum Street are having mudslides in their backyard. It's just been an ongoing nightmare. So we've had several meetings, but the proposal was that this owner wanted to put up a performance bond, and he wanted to move forward and try to open a station. And the performance bond would have more or less tied him, and I'll be corrected if I'm wrong by my colleagues, would have tied him to any work that wasn't done. There would have been money there, so if he all of a sudden abandoned and left, there would be money there for us to finish. But on the other hand, the clients, the neighbors, as well as their lawyer, John Carr, drafted another letter, which I read into the record. It was almost like this letter here from Councilor Carenti stated what they wanted to do. This letter from the neighbors more or less said, no way, no way. So we had a very good meeting. We spoke, we listened to Councilor Carr. Very problematic, and the fact that, as Councilor Carr stated, Usually when you represent clients, they call you to adhere. Well, I guess Councilor Carenzi has been calling Mr. Sideropoulos. He just hasn't been cooperative, hasn't followed up. It's been nothing but empty promises. We had met in July. At that point, they said he wanted to, Councilor Carenzi said he wanted to come back and do everything all at once, the drainage system, the plantings. We had Michael Blyer look at the plantings, John Carr representing the people. It's just been frustrating, very frustrating, and it's even more frustrating for me and my colleagues because we're not living the nightmare that those people are living down there. They're looking at the back of a white building, wide open, traffic, lights, noise. They have no backyard. They have nothing. They brought in pictures and showed us. You all know. But at this point, I'm gonna give up the floor to Council Previa, Council Lovely. But I just want to say that some of these neighbors after the meeting came over and thanked us, and I think that's why we all become city councilors. But what these people have gone through, it's gut-wrenching. It's just shouldn't be happening. So hopefully we're at the point now where this place is going nowhere until everything is done and there isn't going to be an occupancy permit issued because he's done nothing. He's just ignored every chance we've given him. And I know his counselor, his lawyer is frustrated as well as we are. But again, there was 9 city councilors here. And I think that's good that we're supporting what's going on here. But I'll give up the floor and let my colleagues speak on it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Councilor Pinto for chairing that committee, and I certainly agree with him in terms of his characterization that it was a good meeting. In terms of what we discussed, where everybody stands, and certainly where the council stands. As Councilor Pinto stated, 9 councilors were there, and you don't get that too often in a committee meeting with an issue like that. I think everyone's concerned, and I and my constituents in Ward 6 are certainly extremely appreciative and grateful of the constant and ongoing united support that we've received from the entire body of the City Council. In moving forward, the proposal, as Councilor Pinto had pointed out, was that he be permitted, the gas station owner that is, to be given a certificate of occupancy to open with the promises, a written promise and the performance bond in the event that he fails to follow through with that. The problem is he has demonstrated no goodwill whatsoever. He has shown that there's really nothing that he has done that has held true at all up to this point, and we shouldn't take stock in any of his words at this point to trust him that he's going to do this. I think it's very imperative that we hold strong in making sure that he be allowed to open only when he rectifies all of these open-ended issues. He has violated all kinds of permit laws and everything else. He's violated the 1970 Zoning Board of Appeals order that went way back. That's what started this whole thing. And he's done absolutely nothing on that site to rectify a single thing on that site. And yet now he comes forward asking for a certificate of occupancy with only the promise that he's going to restore the trees, restore the grading, get rid of those mounds, take up the illegal drain that he put in there that he didn't get a permit that he was required to. He's done all these things, and now he's saying to all of us, well, give this to me and then I'll do what I'm supposed to. It just doesn't happen. It can't happen. Anyone with a brain in their head has to look at this issue and just say, you must be crazy. If you think you're going to come into the city here, you're an outsider, you're coming in, and he wants to open up a business and just does it his own way and violates our laws and then destroys a neighborhood like he has. And apparently does not feel bad whatsoever. I mean, he's portraying himself now as if he somehow is the victim here. He's not the victim. The neighbors are. They had a wonderful residential neighborhood, and he came in. I'm sure he knew that he had these restrictions on him, and he just ignored them and just thought, I'm going to come in. I own the property. I'm going to do what I want to do, just like I've done in other places. And who cares what kind of quality of life I leave behind for the people? So, again, I'm extremely appreciative of the support I've received from members of the City Council, and I know the neighbors are. They're deeply, deeply grateful that the council has stood behind them the last 3 years to make sure that this injustice does not continue on, and that the gas station owner does not get his way in the end. You know, we all understand money talks, but in this case, we have to band together as a community, and we have around this particular issue. Because if we can't do that for these folks in this particular situation, you know, opens up the whole question, what good are we? So I think it's very telling that, you know, the city council sees it as clearly as we do, and we've united behind the neighbors there. And again, and on behalf of my constituents, I remain appreciative. Thank you.
Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly, it was a very good meeting, and I was pleased that the number of councilors that were able to be in attendance. Going back to what we're asking the building inspector to do, actually, it was Jim Treadwell that had a copy of our zoning ordinance and read excerpts from it, and we believe that Tom St. Pierre can't issue an occupancy permit until all of this is done, until the drainage is corrected, until you know, the plantings are done, until it's all done. I mean, this gentleman, Mr. Sideropoulos, is looking now to be able to move into the building, open up, and start his business when all of these things remain undone. But if you read the zoning ordinance, it doesn't allow that to happen. It literally doesn't allow that to happen. He can't invite customers and patrons onto his property, on property that in the back and on the sides is completely undone with big mounds and drainage, and it just can't happen. So that's why we were respectfully requesting that the building inspector withhold until such time that that property is complete, inside and out. The outside, you just can't move in, and the outside remains undone, and these neighbors have to, you know, continue to put up with this, what is absolutely just an annihilation of what he has done to these people's properties, and the flooding and the mudslides, and it's just outrageous. So that was the recommendation that we made. Thank you.
Okay. Council Fury.
Yes, please, Mr. President. This has been a nightmare for Ward 6, and it's been well led for the last 3 years championed by Councilor Prevey to help the residents out and answer their cause and their needs. We need to send a clear message to any developer like this through the 7 wards, not to have this ever happen again. It's a nightmare for Ward 6. It'd be a nightmare for any of the ward councillors, and as an at-large councillor, it's an embarrassment to the whole city of Salem. And even though we don't have the legal authority to tell Mr. St. Pierre, the building inspector, what to do, it would send a clear message that maybe he would consider holding off any occupancy permits to allow this progress to take place and positive action to take place there. So I hope it received the unanimous vote of the Public Health and Safety Committee chaired by Councilor Pinto. I co-sponsored this motion along with Councilor Prevey and Councilor Lovely. So I hope it receives the unanimous support to send a clear message so this will never happen again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Pelletier, then Councilor Rowland.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I thought after one of I didn't come to this meeting, I apologize. But I thought after one of the last meetings on this subject that there was an excavator over there, and I thought they were doing some of the drainage work. Have you spoke with our city engineer to see if that drainage work was done?
Councilor Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city engineer, Dave Knowlton, was at that meeting the other night, and his representation was nothing's been done.
Okay, so I would ask you to amend your order to state not only the building inspector, but the city engineer needs to sign off on all the drainage too, all the sloping and all that, you know? That's just one more.
At the meeting the other night, it has to go, there's a checklist, it has to go with the fire department, the city engineer, so there's a whole checklist that has to go through.
I would add that all into the order.
Councilor Ronan.
Everybody's got to be.
Yes, Mr. President, I was just going to touch on that very issue. At the meeting, Dave Knowlton, the city engineer, was here and said, you know, if this goes the normal route, there's a routing slip that goes around to the various departments. And because the groundwater drainage system hasn't been completed here, I wouldn't sign off on it. I would say, no, not ready for an occupancy permit. Essentially, the offer from Mr. Sideropoulos is, well, listen, what I really want you to do is just let me open, and I'll take care of all of that stuff later under a performance bond. What I think it was the consensus of the meeting, and we were all here to really find a constructive solution to the problem, was that's not really the solution. The solution is do what you said you were going to do, and then, you know, we'll consider letting you open. So I think that was the sentiment of the body at the meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports.
Council Lyon, what for?
Thank you. City Council, October 27, 2011. The Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter regarding the Mass Health Insurance Reform Law, has considered said matter and would recommend that the Committee of the Whole meet again on November 9, 2011, and then have a special meeting afterwards to vote on it.
All in favor of acceptance of the report? Remarks, Councilor?
Last night, we had a 2-hour meeting. We had, I think, most of the union, 3 or 4 of the union reps were here, the mayor. We had got some information about the new, the health insurance law, and we decided that the union, we were all pretty much in favor, I can't speak for everybody, of passing it, but the unions wanted more time to go back to their members, just to prepare them for them. And after the mayor's presentation, we felt that we could give them a little bit more time. So we originally had it for the next city council meeting on November 17th, but then we moved it back to the 9th to not make it as long. A couple weeks we thought would be a good time. So then we're planning on having a committee of the whole meeting on the 9th and then have a special meeting right after to vote it out.
All right. Any remark, any discussion from the city council about the date, the 9th of November? Hearing none? Any remarks on anything about this matter? None? All in favor? Opposed? The 9th. So be it.
Amen.
Communications from city officials? None. Petitions?
We request from Freemasons to reserve 4 parking spaces near 70 Washington Street to hold blood drives on February 15, 2012, April 11, 2012, June 13, 2012, August 16, 2012, and December 12, 2012.
Council Pelletier?
As you can see, there might be something significant in the 12, but I won't go there, but they do this. This has been doing this for a while, and I think it's a wonderful idea. I move that it be granted, and that the city clerk send over a copy of this to the parking director, Jim Hacker, for his edification.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Moved. Further petitions?
We have a list of licenses, public guide, tag, and tag day.
Council Lovely?
Move that they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Lovely moves they be referred to Committee on Ordinances, License, Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have 2 taxi operators.
Council Lovely?
Move they be granted.
Council Lovely moves they be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have 1 taxi operator license.
Council Lovely?
Move it be denied.
Council Lovely moves to be denied. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have a request from Kenneth Mason for a hearing on the denial of his taxi operator license.
Council Lovely?
Move it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
Council Lovely moves to be referred to Committee on Ordinances, License, Legal Affairs to hold an executive session. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have 2 claims.
Council Lovely?
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Lovely moves 2 claims be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed? Unfinished business? Council Lovely?
Sorry? Oh, is this one mine?
Yeah.
Second passage? Do you want me to read that?
Yes.
Second passage, ordinance amending traffic, chapter 42, section 74, no parking zone, tow zone, Mason Street, both sides from Tremont Street to Flint Street.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed?
Move.
So moved. Further unfinished business? Council
For
Ronan?
second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, chapter 42, section 49, obedience to isolated stop sign, Glover Street and Leach Street.
Council Ronan?
Yes, I'd move for final passage. Discussion.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Further unfinished business?
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, chapter 42, section 50B, handicap parking, tow zone, Lori Ave.
Council O'Keefe?
Mr. President, members of the council, I move for second and final passage.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Yep. Further unfinished business?
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking tow zone, Boston Street.
Counsel McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the council president, this being in his ward, I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Counsel Pinto?
Move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Happy Halloween.